Hello guys, this is Gabriela here, and I thought about doing a quick video just to show you guys some things instead of just dumping you the images for the step-by-step process of the comic process, okay? So this was the most voted option on my poll last week, so I'm gonna show you a process for a few pages and really quick, just talk you a bit about what I thought at each stage. So I'll be showing you a scene, a short scene from the beginning of the story. It's a scene where Crow goes to a pub to meet her clients, and there something unexpected happens, and they have to talk it through to solve this problem. It's a short scene, as you can see here. At first it was only 4 pages. So after I wrote the scene and I was happy with how it was written and how things happened, I started doing thumbnails for this scene. And thumbnails are this. They're like squiggly little drawings with nothing much. You don't even know who is who because I just like put heads here and there just to know how many pages I would use for this scene, the pacing of the scene. And as you can see here, this is like I was thinking about how the reader would read this scene. So where Western will read from left to right, so I wanted to make sure that the reader didn't get caught in some weird placement, like if this box ended here and this one started here, it would be super weird because people will be confused about where do I go? I go down here or do I continue here? So all these problems are solved in this stage. I'm not worried about anatomy. I'm not worried about accuracy. I'm worried about the pacing of the story. This is the most important thing on this stage. So, and this is a super quick stage. You can see anyone can do this in like minutes. So if something doesn't look right, I can just scrap this and do another one and another one and another one until I'm happy with, with how things are flowing. So after I have the thumbnails for the scene all done, I start doing like a quick loose sketch. And you can already see here, you can already see here that I ended up adding a fifth page to this scene because I thought, it was too short. The scene was ending too abruptly, and I needed to establish the motives of these characters afterwards. It was looking kind of weird without this page. So it's a still very fast stage. So it's easy to move and around and mix things, and you can see that everything's much cleaner now, but the drawing is still super sketchy, and this is very low resolution. But you can see it's supposed to be sketchy, it's supposed to be weird, and it's supposed to be easy for you to spot like big mistakes and change them here. Later on, when you start detailing every piece of the comic, it's much harder to move things around and keep things, smooth. So we do this in a lot of steps just to make sure that that things are progressing the way that we want to. And later on, it might seem like you're taking so much time doing all these steps, but it saves a lot of time in the long run. So after I do the first pencils, I'll show you page by page the 5 pages from this scene. So this is the thumbnail for this page. As I told you before, very, very sketchy, very, very weird, and like not very flattering. Not my best drawing. Here is the first pencil for this page, the first very loose sketch, and I got, you know, a little too excited and started detailing stuff a lot here, but then I stepped back and thought, no, it's better for me to, you know, let's solve one problem at a time, okay? I'll worry about the details and anatomy later. So this is the first, when I started doing the line drawing, oh, this is small resolution as well. I'm sorry, guys. So here you can see more clearly what's going on. Here's like her clients having an argument in the pub, and she comes in and they start the conversation, and then I go to the inking phase because I was happy with how this turned out, you know. I was pretty confident that I had all the important information laid out here. So I felt confident going to the inking phase, which you can see here. It helps a lot. It feels a lot better. And the final refining phase. You can see here how this looks so much better with a proper backdrop. And it's not like a super tight backdrop and stuff like that. It's really thrown out there, but it gives life to the place. It makes everything looks more real. So moving on to the next page, we have also the thumbnail here. My first sketch is here, really loose. Then I started doing the line work. And this is the part where you start worrying about anatomy, proportion, you know, all the detail and stuff. How does the foot look from the back view? So you pull up reference for it. And then, yeah, here it is, my face reference for this scene. And I have two reference, and yeah, it can be you just posing out, and it's really hot here, okay guys, that's why I'm in a bikini, okay, don't judge me. But you can see I have the face and the hands here for me to sketch out, because this was looking so weird. And yeah, we can ink and detail, and everything looks much better with reference. And the final stage with the speech bubbles, and you know, haha, background looks much better with the background, and the speech bubbles make it look less empty, because you know, here like, oh, look at this mess. It's kind of like sloppy, but when I put the speech bubbles, it's all right. It gives the right feeling. So the next page is page 4, and it's page where we introduce to the other new character, which is this character here, which is Dorian. He's a mercenary too, and Crow isn't very happy about that. You know, she doesn't want. And look at that. You know, in my first sketch, he had a pose and, you know, a certain way of doing things, and when I started to doing the proper line work, I was like, oh, that doesn't look good at all, you know, like it's kind of felt like he was falling to the side, and you know, you couldn't see his smug face. I wanted people to see this smug expression on his face. So I changed these things around, and this is where you can change these things. But I wasn't changing like the size of the panels. I wasn't changing the flow of the story. No, I wasn't worrying about that at this stage. Like I said before, this is a stage where I'm worrying about, you know, the character pose and anatomy and how all these things work. So here is the inking for this page. Things keep getting better with each stage. And this is the final stage with some more details and speech bubbles. And speech bubbles, they're awesome because they hide stuff that you don't want people to see. And you put the details in, you know, like her hair and his hair, they were like just black, which didn't look bad. I like it, but it's much better like this, you know, but just my opinion. Okay, here's page 5. So they're having this argument. Oh, and see here, I had like 2 panels and this panel, and when I started doing the first line work, you're like, oh, this looks much better if it was just one panel, because here is where the drama ramps up. Okay, so she doesn't work, works alone. She doesn't want to work with him. But they have a big problem in their hands and they don't want to risk it, so they want to hire them both. And this guy here is making like a whole lot of drama. And he's trying to convince them of taking the job because they really need him to take it. So you can see here this is like, I just put a pointy beard here to know that, yeah, this is this guy, this is the tall guy, so yeah, no need for much. This guy would be like, oh, he was drinking in between, you know. And you know, you put a bit of acting into the scene, and you pull up reference. Every time you're like in need, you know, like struggling like with hands, I've always pull up reference for hands, because hands are super hard to draw, in my opinion. They are super hard. So I either photograph myself or photograph my husband, or act in front of myself, like put my hands right beside the screen in the same pose, if that's possible. And shots like these, this is a weird angle of the face. So I went online and I looked up reference, or I photographed myself. I don't have the reference for it here, but I know I use reference. So here in the ink and phase, everything looks better, everything looks smoother. We put like some neat effects like this, you know, like everything looks more ominous and stuff like that. And oh, look at here, we have background. You know, guys, don't be lazy about background. I know I don't want to do backgrounds like very often. I don't like doing backgrounds, but it gives so much credibility to your drawings, to your illustrations, to your scenes, and it gives personality too, you know. So this is a dimly lit pub. So it's not a happy place, it's not a place where people are talking about light things. You know, it's a place where people talk about weird jobs and dark things, and they plot and they plan. So it gives the reader the information for him to like, oh, this is this kind of scene, you know. They get in the mood of the scene. And for the last page, the page that I added after it, so they both step away from them. They're considering taking the job, but you don't know yet if they took it or not. Well, you guys know they took it because you see them in later pages together, and they stay behind. So here you can see it. Now they step away because it ended like this and it went to another scene and readers were getting confused. And that's another thing, you know, like, don't hesitate to ask people to, even if they don't know how to draw or how to write a story, like, sit them down and say, hey, take a look at my story, like, for just 5 minutes here and tell me what you think. And that's super useful because people will say, well, I got confused, what happened here? And then you'll know it's like, oh, that's not a very good transition. I need to make things better. So I added this page, and it was also a good thing for me because I could make these guys' intention pretty clear, because you can see here they say behind, and you listen to the last part of their conversation, and it's not a very friendly conversation. So this is thinking phase. You can see I had a speech bubble here, so I was like, I'm not gonna fix this. I'm gonna leave this stump half colored, half table, you know, like his shirt. Like, have a speech bubble there. Not gonna worry. But it's okay. It's like, if you're gonna put a speech bubble there, no one's gonna see it. So there isn't a reason for you like to fret over it. And here is the red marking is a placeholder for me, because I needed to put a symbol here, which I hadn't come up with it yet. So this was red for me to see, like, hey, you need to fix this. And in our next page, yeah, I fixed it, and everything looks better. And oh no, I missed this. But I fixed his thumb, I fixed the coins, you know. I put some background in here. Background. I keep trying to do things without backgrounds because I'm lazy, but in the end I have to do because it looks so much better and it looks more professional. So don't be lazy of doing backgrounds, okay guys? Put time and effort into it and everything looks much better. So that's it. These are our 5 pages today, so there's a lot of pages for you guys. I'll put them in the description as well, in the post on the Patreon, so you can see them better too. But yeah, that's it. I just wanted to make some sort of, not just throwing the pages and the steps to you and writing stuff up, because I think I could better explain what I think when I'm doing these things in video. My head is a mess, and I couldn't think about a nice way of explaining all of this to you guys without making like a huge ass post. So this is this week's update for Carrion Song, and please let me know what you think, if you like this video format or if you'd rather just see the image and have a brief description, because you know I'm learning these things along with you guys, and yeah, I wanted to offer a bit of insight into my process, and rather than just like here's the steps. So that's it. Thank you very much for supporting me, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. Until next time, bye.